Welcome back. You are now tuned in to Gena Honestly. This is episode 3, and I think we're going to call this episode Chapter 35. That's the title. I have had a really hard time making this episode, and I think it's taken me a few extra days to get to it. And I think it's because I didn't really know how I wanted to tackle this topic of turning 35. In last week's episode, I kind of just like breezed past it, talking about the fact that I was going to be turning 35. And now that it's actually happened, I turned 35 over the weekend. My birthday's March 28th. And it just comes with a flood of emotions. I don't know about you, but for me, birthdays are always a time of reflection for me. I think about all of the good things that have happened and how far I've come and all of the progress I've made, but it's also a time where it's a reminder of like all the things that you haven't achieved and the things you haven't done. And I wanted to come here and make this episode completely dressed down, right? Like no makeup, unfiltered. I'm sitting here in a t-shirt that probably has like food stains on it from my son, and I just wanted to make an episode where I was just genuinely being myself, completely dressed down for you guys. And we're going to get honest about turning 35 and what that has truly meant to me. Turning 35 has been a real experience for me. I believe that aging is a beautiful thing. I feel blessed to have reached the age of 35. I have lost several people in my life along the way that were my age and some younger than me. So I don't take aging for granted because I know that time is fleeting and we only have a short amount of time here that we get on this wonderful planet to live this beautiful life. So I don't take it for granted. But I'd be lying if I said that aging this particular year, reaching 35, just felt so heavy to me. I really just was in denial about it. Reaching mid 30s to some may not seem like a big deal, but for me, turning 35 just felt like my youthfulness is slipping away. And not because I feel like I'm getting old, but because society starts to tell you, as a woman specifically, that you're getting old. The amount of times that I hear people make comments, specifically like younger people make comments about, aging and stuff and saying like, oh, like you're past your prime or like you're like practically a senior citizen. Like you hear the comments. And I know that for me, you try not to listen to it, but eventually you start to feed into it a little bit, where they talk to you about like, you're not cool anymore, you're not hip, you're not any of the things that you used to be. Like you're just past, you're past the prime. And that has really been something that I have struggled with because I feel youthful. I have never felt better. I think that I am getting myself to a place where I am being healthier. I'm definitely more conscious of like my body and um, eating better and exercising more and just doing all the things to take care of myself, because you only get this one body to live in. And I know that from like a spirit perspective, I still feel like a child. I still enjoy doing very youthful, fun things, even though I've matured and I've become a mother. But I still feel my my young self in my spirit. I hope other people feel that way too, that are, millennials, that we've reached that midpoint in life. Because in many ways we have. I don't even think people realize that, like being 35, you're kind of midlife, essentially, depending on how long you live, right? In many ways, it could be like your midlife. And I just think that I want to hang on to the youthfulness that I feel and not let society define me and how I feel about myself. Because, like I said, I personally think that aging is a beautiful thing, but people definitely make you feel like, you're aging, and you're just not the same anymore. You feel, as a woman in particular, I have gone through periods of feeling like I'm less attractive, right? Like I've just so much has changed for me in that regard. I am obviously not the size that I was when I was 25. I have gone through so much through becoming a mother. The what I put my body through to become a parent was taxing on me. The actual pregnancy itself, obviously, another reason why I wanted to come here barefaced for you guys was to show that like I have leftover acne scars. Like I didn't really have acne growing up, but being pregnant, I ended up having a lot of hormonal acne and it scarred worse than I had ever had before. Like I didn't even know what to do, the type of products to use or anything because it wasn't something that I had ever experienced before. It was like a whole new learning curve and it didn't get better after pregnancy, okay? Because I breastfed for about 18 months and that was like, honestly, I think that the breastfeeding acne might have been worse than the acne that I had during pregnancy. So I just spent so much of my time having to learn to love myself in this new body that I'm in that's slightly larger than I was in my 20s, to love myself as like my body changes. I carried well during my pregnancy, but I had a fairly easy pregnancy, but my body has just changed. Everything just feels different. The C-section that I had left behind, a scar that I'm not fond of, although I consider it to be like my battle wound and like the proof that I love Rowan more than anything in this world and would do anything to bring him here safely, including having 7 layers of my body cut through, to have him be brought here and be stitched back together. But, it definitely comes with changes. You get skins loose, cellulite, all of the things, just everything. And I've just had to learn to love myself. And I have had issues with my body for a long time. And it's been hard to learn to love this body, but I do think that being pregnant and giving birth to Rowan was a part of what made me love my body because it brought life into this world. And I feel blessed to have reached the age of 35 and be able to have done that and achieved something that was really important to me. I've always wanted to be a mother. And kind of leads into, going over goals, right? Like things that I've achieved, things that I'm so proud of reaching by 35, right? I bought my second home. I bought a home when I was like, what, 25? I think was when I bought my first 26, 25, 26, somewhere around there. And obviously I outgrew it. I had a son, needed a bigger space, and I ended up buying this place that I'm in now. And I'm so thankful for the success that I've had and the ability for me to be in a financial position that I was able to purchase a new home for us to be in. And I don't want to call it our forever home because I think it's more of like a transitional space, but it's definitely a home that I'm proud of. And just, it was a goal that I really set for myself when I decided to have a child, that I knew like, okay, I'm going to need to get into another space. And it took me a little bit longer than what I had originally wanted, but nonetheless, I achieved that goal. I have gotten through school. At this point, I'm considering going back again, which I know some people would think is absolutely crazy, already having 2 degrees, but I'm going to go back for a third just because I feel like the greatest thing I'll ever do is in front of me and I haven't done it yet. So, more to come on that. I'm going to keep it to myself what I want to go back to school for again, but it's still slightly related to what I do now, but different. And I'm really excited about that potential journey. And I'm going to spend the next like year or so kind of like prepping for that, making sure that I focus on Rowan and his needs. And then I'll turn my attention to, myself and school for me. I think I need to get him in school first. And then I'll turn to getting myself back into school again because I'm out of practice. I haven't been in school since I finished my master's in 2021. It's been a few years now. We're talking like 5 years since I've been in school. So I have to get my mind right for that. But I've achieved a lot when it comes to my career. Still have some other things that I want to do, and I'm setting myself up to do those things. And honestly, this podcast, this was something that I've always wanted to do. I have a podcast that I'm a part of with my friends, which I enjoy. Shout out to Rose Noir. But making my own podcast was always something that I wanted to do. I just had to get up the courage to do it and sit here in front of you all and make content. But I'm here now and I'm sharing my story, sharing my experiences, and just connecting with people. And that's always something that I've enjoyed. And I think looking back on my 35 years of life, that has been a trend for me is the ability to talk with people, connect with them, and really just be my true authentic self and be empathetic and just I just love connecting with people. And even though I sometimes have I have social anxiety, I somehow have always been able to get past that and have the ability to put myself out there. And that's something I'm really proud of was getting over that fear of getting behind the camera and kind of exposing myself in a way. I'm really happy that I've done that because I'm really proud of some of the things that I've done with social media. My account, which was originally Gena TTC for the OGs, which then turned into Gena and Bean. I created a community there that was just so supportive. I shared my single mom by choice journey, and there were so many women that reached out to me privately and even in my comments, just sharing that I gave them the courage to do the same thing that I did and be able to make that journey for themselves. And that is something that I truly am just so proud of because there were other women that really helped me with my journey that probably never even will never even know that they helped me, but I just didn't see enough Black women that were sharing their journey, and I wanted to be that voice, that story that I really needed just to see myself in the story. And I think that's even why I wanted to do the podcast too, because I want to continue being that Black female voice for other women. So, with that being said, 35 has just been, it's off to a good start. It's been a whirlwind so far, the few days that I've been 35, but just, I'm taking it all in. I'm really happy that I've made it to see 35. I feel blessed to see 35. And I look forward to everything that I'm going to do in the future, right? The last 35 years have been great. And I'm hoping that I have 35 plus more years, right? Here. And that I continue to get to see Rowan grow up and all of the things that he's going to do. And honestly, to see the things that I'm going to do. There was an amazing woman that I knew once that told me that the greatest thing that I'll ever do is in front of me. And I have really treasured that because I genuinely do feel like I agree with her. The greatest thing I'm ever going to do is something that I haven't even done yet. And it allows you to just dream and think of all the possibilities of what you can achieve, right? If you believe that you haven't already done it, you're not past your prime. You can still do anything that you set your mind to. I saw a woman on TikTok share that her mother completed medical school and had matched for residency at the age of 72. No one can ever tell me that I can't do anything that I want to do when I get to see stories like that and examples like that of the fact that age doesn't define your ability to do anything because the only person that can stop you is you. You can do whatever you want. And I'm just really happy with knowing that I can still do whatever I want. So if there's something that you're thinking about doing and you're unsure and you're scared and you're thinking oh, I'm too old for that and I have too many responsibilities and I need to focus on this, stop yourself there. You can do anything that you set your mind to. The timing may be different. It may not align with what anybody else thinks that you should be doing, but if it's truly something in your heart that you have a passion for and you desire, do that for yourself because we only get this one life and we should live it and have no regrets with what we've done. I know I don't have any regrets. There's nothing in my life that I would do differently than what I've done, whether it was the good, the bad, and everything in between, because I genuinely feel like everything led me to being right here and right now, living in my purpose. So that is it for today's episode. If you tuned in for this entire session, I appreciate you. I love you, and I will see you next time.